I'm now going to be demonstrating for you guys the rotator cuff soft tissue work. To give a little bit of context, the rotator cuff includes a lot of different things. Essentially, it's this back part of the shoulder. And for a lot of guys, this not only tends to be a very tight spot, but an extremely gritty one. A lot of guys associate tightness in this spot with injury or being hurt, when in reality it's just very tight and kind of wound up, very gritty in that area. A lot of times we notice a guy who is extremely tight in that area, they kind of lack the ability or kind of lose out on internal range of motion just as a result of this being extremely tight in here. So hopefully just using the lacrosse ball and kind of targeting that area, we can loosen it up and increase that internal range of motion, and you'll start to notice a little bit more freedom. Just in general, to find that spot, because it is a little bit of a tougher spot to find, all you're going to do is kind of take your hand and place it around your shoulder or the deltoid muscle right here. And you'll see where my finger ends up on the back of my shoulder. It's going to be a little bit more of a squishy kind of muscle group right there. That's the rotator cuff. That's what we're looking to target. If you kind of dig your finger in there, it should be a little bit tender. That's how you're going to kind of know that's the spot we're looking for. So all we're going to do for this one, we're going to lay on the ground. You're going to find that spot. I like to just lay down, put my arm down, and kind of mark the spot with my finger, just because it's kind of hard if you lose it. So again, arm here, put it down, find that spot, mark it with your finger, and all we're going to do is place the lacrosse ball right there, and then just let the arm come down. This should be an extremely tender spot. You should feel it flare up right away. From there, all we're going to do is kind of slowly oscillate laterally this way. Really kind of keep it on this plane. This isn't something you want to be doing circles around. We want to stay on the grain of our muscles and tendons, so just stay laterally here. All we're doing is, again, just oscillating right here. Take a lot of deep breaths. Feel yourself relax in that position. A few other progressions you can do is I like to kind of grab my elbow and pull up this way. The focus here is not necessarily just pulling into your body, but really feel yourself push out, create a nice arc of motion, and bring it up to your body. All we're doing there is just kind of lengthening out the muscles and things kind of in that area, and just targeting that. And the last thing you can do is just kind of go between external and internal rotation. Just add that kind of element of dynamic movement in the rotator cuff, kind of simulate the motion that it's going to be going into. A lot of grittiness comes from that deceleration process. So in throwing, it's going to be that internal. Again, that's why we see those problems. So if you're a guy who feels like that's you, you can even focus down here in this motion, focus more on the external. But either way, you're probably going to want to spend a lot of time in this spot. This isn't something we want to rush. So like a few other things, don't necessarily constrain yourself to a time, but more so just making sure you're hitting all those target areas, really feeling yourself kind of loosen up and getting rid of the flares. The last piece we can add in, getting rid of the lacrosse ball, we can do the sleeper stretch. This is a common one a lot of people have heard of. All we're going to do is kind of stay in that same spot. And then from there, all we're going to do is drop the arm into internal rotation. A lot of guys who struggle and are going to be extremely tight in the rotator cuff, they're going to be extremely limited. They're not going to be able to get very far down. So one way we can kind of progress that movement is creating a little bit of a rails-pails variation. So all you're going to want to do, bring it down as hard as you can, use your other hand to kind of press it down. And then once you've done that for 3 to 5 seconds, then you use this hand to push it back up. Use this hand to resist it. So it should look something like this. So now I'm pushing back up while this hand's resisting, and then relax, let it fall. You should see yourself gain a little bit more range of motion, and eventually you should be able to get pretty close to flat or sufficiently more range of motion than where you started, and then just do a nice reset, kind of relax the shoulder. Those are both things, again, just kind of address not only the rotator cuff, but also that internal rotation.